All right, I'm good to go. We are live. What's up, guys?
What is happening?
My damn chat box won't pop up, though, so can't see what they're saying.
My chat box is like a chat box within a chat box.
Exactly. Jesus.
Oh, what in the world?
Let's see. Well, it doesn't show us how many viewers we have. That's great.
Wow.
Oh my god. Well, anyway.
Right. Hey!
I think I made it pretty clear, Anakin, that it was 8 o'clock, so if you're not here, then you're not a hardscoper, right?
That's right. Let's see how many hardscopers actually know what time it is, Central Standard Time.
Let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 videos now on YouTube stating that this is happening right now. And so, yeah, so everybody should be over here. There's over 300 views on my video reminder already that I just put up about 20 minutes ago. So there's no reason there shouldn't be enough people in here to start this going.
Indeed.
So, guys, today, obviously, you're viewing Down the Scope episode 25, which is a huge milestone for Anakin and I, because we that means for 25 weeks consecutively, we have been we've been consistent. I don't know how to put it. We've been on time. We put this before the rest of our lives, or at that point. We've set a time down Friday that we were like, okay, we're gonna make this. We're gonna dedicate our night to doing this podcast, and we have done it for 25 weeks. That's a long time, Anakin.
Almost half a year. We're 1 week short of half of a freaking year.
I know, and I feel great being dedicated to something that we created for this long, and then gaining a subscriber base that or not a subscriber, but a fan base that we, I mean, look in the chat right quick. Thomas is here. Thomas lives in Norway. It is it's got to be like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning where he's at. He's hard scoping it in.
Hell yeah!
And to have fans like you guys watching or listening to us, in every week or whenever you can, is just absolutely thrilling for me, as well as I know Anakin.
Oh yeah, absolutely. This is I mean, it's amazing that so many people can actually come together regardless of time. Look, Thomas just said it was 3 a.m.
Yeah, he said 3 a.m. and 3 in the morning. That's insane. And we're sorry we can't space these out. I mean, it would be pretty crazy for Anakin and I to do one of these at like 11. I've often thought about doing a live stream at like 11 in the morning or 10 in the morning just so that my UK viewers could watch. But nah, that doesn't sound very, very appealing to me. I don't know if that. I can't imagine waking up, having a sip of coffee or something, and then be like, "Hey guys, what's going on? Let's stream a bit." That would just not be me at all. But yeah, so we thought that this would be a great idea to bring a live stream version of our podcast to you guys, where we can actually spend some time and kind of read what you guys have to think about things, or even ask us questions more about ourselves, about games we like to play. And Anakin and I will take turns picking questions out of the chat. Now keep in mind that the YouTube chat, and the reason I'm doing this on YouTube is because it automatically puts this into a video format, which I thought anyway. I'm not sure if it'll do it now because I've noticed that there's some glitchiness with it, but that's why I'm doing it on here. If we do these in the future, we'll probably do them on Justin TV, because as you guys know, YouTube is horrible with this live streaming thing. It's more of a beta than anything else.
Indeed.
Yeah, so we'll probably be doing them on Justin TV from now on. So you'll also note that the chat is kind of laggy as well. So if we don't answer your question, keep in mind that the number of comments coming in is pretty insane, as well as the lagginess issue. And there's always about a 5-second to 10-second delay between the stream and what I'm actually saying. So please be patient with us, and if we don't answer your question, I do apologize. So Anakin, what's on your mind today?
Well, I'm sitting here, for the most part, trying to figure out why YouTube offers this horrible service without actually making the chat box work.
Wait, is it not working for you?
I've just had to refresh, seriously, about 23 times because the chat the chat doesn't scroll up. It just starts piling up on top of itself. Is anybody else having this issue?
I'm watching. I'm scrolling up right now.
Well, mine just constantly just starts piling text on top of each other, and I cannot post. I cannot do anything. It's absolutely amazing. All I see is just text on top of text on top of text. I love it. Oh my
God, that's insane. I tell you what, I don't know. There's another thing about this. I just saw somebody post some idiotic comment, and you can't mod people either. So you can't have moderators who are watching the chat while you're doing your business, and help to thin out any trolls or anything you've got. That's another problem. So we've learned a lesson just in the first 5 minutes. We won't be doing this again on here, but today's a different story.
Indeed.
And we are going to be continuing on this route. So basically, Anakin, I was thinking, we were having a hard time kind of coming up with something to talk about, but I did think of something, and I think that you'll agree with me on this one.
All right, lay it on me.
We have not done our second quarter game picks.
Oh, you know what? Somebody actually nailed us on that in our emails. I remember
I didn't see that.
They were like, "Hey, what the heck? Where's the second quarter?" I was like, yeah, I'll get right back to you."
Exactly. Right.
So yeah, let's talk about it. And then this is a great time for the whole audience here to participate. Right. And everybody can talk about their first quarter game from when we talked about earlier in the year, and then the second quarter. Whatever we've got. Whatever we can talk about, and everybody can chime in with what they feel was the best so far.
Exactly, and that's exactly what I was thinking. And we have had quite a few games come out that were worthy, but we have had a few that were okay, but we've had a lot of crap too.
Absolutely.
We did have gems that were absolutely amazing, like Duke Nukem. Anybody? But
indeed.
But yeah, so we've had some good games as well, and I'm having a hard time. I'm actually looking in my collection right now, and I already know what I'm pretty much gonna pick. But other than these two games that I'm looking at, I don't know really what others have come out this quarter that are worth mentioning. The way I know that they're worth mentioning to me is that I bought them and I've loved them, and any other game that came out that was good, I picked up as well. So I'm gonna let you go first. You tell me what your favorite game of this.
Well, how about we do this? How about I guess what your what your game? Your
okay, there you go.
Gonna be.
You guess what it is, and we'll see if you're right.
I'm gonna guess Infamous 2.
Okay.
I guess I'm wrong.
Yeah, you are.
I'll be damn. All right.
I am actually not a humongous fan of Infamous 2. I'm doing the Let's Play, but it is not my favorite game that came out. Actually.
Oh, whoa! I know what you pick. I know what you're gonna pick. Actually, you're gonna pick probably what I'm gonna pick. Let me guess. L.A. Noire.
Nope.
Oh my God! Because I'll tell you, I think L.A. Noire is probably gonna be my pick.
Did you beat the game yet?
Not yet.
Okay, so
should that matter? Should that because you told me before that it may make a difference.
Yeah, I do think it will. I do. I honestly think it. I think that probably sealed the deal for me. There is one game though that came out that is better than L.A. Noire.
All right, lay it on me.
Portal 2. I love that game.
No, wait a minute. Hang on. I thought Portal 2 was in the running for the first quarter.
No, that was April. That was in April it came out. I'm pretty sure.
Man, you're right. I'm looking now.
Yeah, that came out. That came out. Our first quarter picks weren't. We had a lot then, but Portal 2 and Mortal Kombat are two games that stand out. Mortal Kombat not so much for its story, but because of the online play is so good and the fighting mechanics are very, very good, and they're geared toward tournament play. I enjoy that because that means more what am I trying to say? More stuff to watch. I can watch Medina play tournaments online, and it's kind of like honestly watching a sport. But Portal 2 is such a great game to me because the first Portal was so good. And if you guys didn't like Portal, whatever, that's your opinion. You can choose whatever you want.
You're dumb. Sorry. No, you're not. I love all of you.
But if you didn't like Portal, or Portal 2, that's okay. It is a specific taste. And if you don't like puzzle games, if you don't like those types of things those games that make you really think and can stump you for about an hour or two at a time, then I understand. But Portal had the mechanics of a good game, the story of a good game, the characters and voice acting of a good game. It just all around just really did blow the top off of this quarter for me personally. So yeah, runner up is Mortal Kombat, but I have to give it to Portal 2.
So overall, you didn't did you not like LA Noire? Did you I know you ended up beating it, and then you had some certainly some kind of beef with the end of the game, which I don't know about yet. Was that not even in your running? Did you
no, it is definitely. Well, you know what? I would probably, honestly, now that I think about it, probably put it a little bit above Mortal Kombat just for the way it was handled. But man, I really didn't like the end, and I didn't like the whole last 2 hours of the game. I can't just say the ending, because for those of you who haven't beat the game, you're gonna sit there and be like, you can't base a whole freaking game on the ending. I can't, and I still give that game a solid 8.5 to a 9 if I were to have to rate it. But the last 2 hours of that game just didn't feel right to me, and it's just kind of one of those things. If you've ever seen a movie and you knew that this movie was going a certain direction, and then they did something that sucked for you, and then at the end of the movie you're sitting there going, dang it, I wish they would have done it the way I thought, because that would have been a better movie, then you'll understand LA Noire. It's one of those things. It's like, wait, the way I thought it was going to happen was so good. Because a lot of movies, Anakin, you say, okay, I think I know how it's going to end. Then it ends better than what you thought.
Right.
You ever had that? You know how that happens.
Absolutely,
and
yeah.
Like, damn it, I could never have thought of that. I couldn't have thought of that. This game ends worse than you wanted it to, and you're like, wait a minute, I never ever would have done that because it was too risky. And second of all, I'm glad I wouldn't have done it, because I just didn't like it. Some people did. But me and a few of my friends, we actually agreed on that ending. Before I even asked them, before I even told them my opinion, I was just like, straight face, what'd you think of the ending? They were like,
wow.
But it's
hang on, KFXG. that is not even remotely in this quarter. What is wrong with you? And E.T. on the Atari 2600, I think, is ranked as one of the absolute worst possible game releases of all time.
No, as a matter of fact, it is one of the causes of the gaming crash back in the 1980s.
Indeed.
It literally crashed the gaming. So what they did was they took what they do today, only they did it. They shouldn't have. They took games like Pac-Man and all these franchises, and then they took E.T., which just come out. It was a brand new game, and they mass-produced these carts, and none of them were selling. It literally just plummeted, and they ended up having to bury them in the desert. There's some up there. They're buried somewhere. I guarantee.
I've heard that over and over, and I swear I'm not sure if that exists or not. I don't know if anyone's ever been able to verify that.
Well, see, Seth right there. He says it's in a Mexican landfill, and is not a Mexican landfill a desert? I would probably.
Wait a minute. I didn't know we were going offensive tonight. Hang on.
Oh, hey, come on. Hey, that wasn't that bad. Medina's not here, so it's okay.
Oh, right. Okay, sorry. We'll have to get him in here.
I'm just kidding. But yeah, so I mean that's E.T. So mine was Portal 2. What's yours, Anakin?
Obviously, with including that game in this quarter, which, God, I could have sworn that was like a much earlier release, like March or something. But man, if we're talking April, May, and June, there's some pretty heavy duty titles that came out. Mortal Kombat, like you said, was April 19th. Portal 2 was April 21st. For the big blockbuster games, Brink was in May. Fable 3 was in May. That was actually the PC version of Fable, actually. L.A. Noire, The Witcher 2, which was PC only. That made a pretty big splash.
Yeah.
Fear 3.
Well, that just came out. Are we still in the second quarter?
Yeah. Second quarter. Red Faction Armageddon.
No, we're not. We're not. We just started the third.
July starts the 3rd.
That's what I'm saying. We're in July right now.
Right. I'm still looking at what I'm looking at is all the second quarter releases.
Right, but Fear came out like a week ago.
I show May 24th here.
Fear 3?
Yeah.
There's no way.
Really?
I swear to God.
Maybe it got pushed back. I'm looking at an IGN list here. So
okay.
Yeah, and then Red Faction Armageddon. Infamous 2, Alice Madness Returns, Child of Eden, which I really like. Child of Eden, I think that's a blast. I'm gonna
play it?
Yeah, I actually have it for the Kinect. I play the heck out of it, and I really enjoy it.
Yeah, I saw the gameplay for that, and it looked pretty cool. And there was a really fine Asian girl in it.
Indeed. Hey, Epic. Yes, I do like Castle Crashers. By the way, it's I own that on Xbox. It's pretty darn fun.
Man, I wish I had that game. I'd never played it, but it's one of those Newgrounds inspired games that a la Meat Boy, and I really would like to try it out. But
back to the original question, I guess. Man, I'll tell you. Between L.A. Noire and Portal 2, here's the deal. I'm going to have to put an asterisk next to this selection here because I would probably have to say, let me get on the Viridia bandwagon here. I may have to say Portal 2 as well, only because I can't truly compare L.A. Noire to Portal 2 at this point for Game of the Year for me because I have not finished L.A. Noire. And apparently, the end is polarizing enough that it could make or break whether it would be my game of the quarter.
Right.
So,
I really think you need to finish that before you say anything, because before I finished it, I honestly probably would have picked it because, it is a spectacle. It's very well done, and aside from some minor glitches, it's okay. But that last 2 hours, what they do is very very treacherous to the main character and very treacherous to the player, and it really kind of betrays him of something he's become very familiar with.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but so Portal 2, we can't agree again.
Well, I know this is what's ridiculous. There's no reason we should have agreed back in the first quarter because there was a ton of games.
Wait, Crysis 2?
Right.
Didn't you say Crysis 2 was was one of your tops?
It was one of my tops, okay, but Dead Space 2 pushed me over the edge,
Crysis 2 was back. Yeah, that's right. Okay, never mind. So Crysis 2 was back in first quarter, Smarzy. So, yeah, exactly. Shoot, I'm getting these mixed up. We need to make a timetable for the next one. I'll do that. I'll make a timetable so we can have it in front of us and be like, okay, we can't pick that one.
Indeed.
But, so let me ask you this: we got July through September, and what games do we have coming out then? Look, what do you have coming out in those? Because the fourth quarter pick is going to be bullshit.
I know.
To pick one game there, it's going to literally. I'm going to feel like I'm hurting a family member. I'm twisting their arm. I'm going to have to pick between some of the best titles we've probably ever seen on these consoles. So,
and that's the problem with the third quarter. The third quarter is going to be garbage, and the fourth quarter is going to be nothing but mega releases. In the third quarter, we're looking at some oddball games. Catherine comes out here short, or I think actually will come out this week.
Have you played the demo for that?
Oh man, I don't like to do drugs, so I didn't want to play that.
I don't know. It got a 9 pretty much across the board. It's gotten good reviews, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, it makes me sick sometimes to think, can Japan get any more stupid Now, there is a line, okay? I understand cultures are differing, okay? I understand this. But this is retarded, okay?
Yeah.
I mean, like, he's, like, in his underwear. He's hanging on to a dimensional cliff made out of blocks, and, like, I don't know, there's no telling what else is going to be in this game. You can just tell by the look of it that it is absolutely bizarre. And it seems like that's their realistic graphics to us Americans. You know, the western part of the world, they thrive on realistic graphics, realistic sounds. The more realistic you can fit something onto the TV, the better. Japanese, it seems, the more insane and batshit crazy you can make it, the more appealing it is to the audience. It's insane.
Yeah, you know, I tried it, and the thing is with that, like, I'm totally with you. This whole this whole, like, let's just throw a bunch of words in a box and then, like, pour it out on the ground and we're gonna make a game out of that. I mean, this is just, to me, it was just so out there. I honestly don't think that this game is going to be that successful, at least over here in the United States and mostly the European world, because it's just, you know, it's just so far out there. I don't think people get it. In fact, I don't even know if the people that made it get it.
I don't either.
It's so far out that, you know, I just feel like it's just too much. You know, I don't even mind a wacky, off-the-wall game, but this game is just freaking, you know, it's just out there. I don't even understand the point of it, you know?
Well, and Bayonetta pushed it for me. Bayonetta it literally was at the edge where I said, okay, I love this game, but it is at that right amount of bizarre that it cannot go any farther for me, and I can still enjoy it. If it goes any farther over that edge, it can go to hell because I'm not touching it. But I don't know. I can't diss the game because I haven't played. I played the demo, and it looks like a puzzle game, unless it changes up. You're sitting there jumping up the side of these cliffs.
Right. I think it's sort of a platformer. It's almost, I think, meant to be kind of like almost like a Tomb Raider style gameplay. You know?
Right. Exactly. I don't know. It's insane. I just don't get some of these Japanese games. But for the next quarter, I'm going to look it up too.
Beyond that, you know, we've got that Call of Juarez, the Cartel, which they take that Call of Juarez franchise, which is very, very strange that they made a franchise out of that game. But, you know, this new one is completely modern. They pulled it into modern times.
Yeah, I don't know about that. The first and second one were odd.
They were okay. I mean, they were just kind of out there as, you know, Wild West games, you know. I mean, I don't think too many people put a whole lot of thought into them. But this one, you know, they were trying to make a pretty big splash with it. But, man, I sure hadn't heard anything about it.
Well, the only game that the only reason I like the second one is it actually takes place in the city that I live in. Did you know that? Like the first hour of the game takes place right here.
No
I was
kidding.
like, yeah, I was dead serious. I'm like, oh wow, that's worth a buy for $10 just to, you know, say that I got the game and I can go and explore it, you know. But yeah, that's the only. And you know, I've seen a lot of bad buzz about this game online. If you go and look at some of the trailers, the dislikes are just insane. People are just like, no, this is gonna suck. Now I don't know if these are fans of the old one. Because, I mean, imagine if they did that to your franchise, you know?
Right. You
really enjoyed the old West, and then, boom, they turn into, you know, Once Upon a Time in Mexico.
Right. Well, you know, I don't know where I don't know what's going to happen with that one. I don't think that one's on my buy list right now, but I am curious to see how well it does. You know, I just don't think there's a whole lot of future for that franchise. But, you know, also coming up in August, you've got Deus Ex.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
That's a biggie, you know.
That is.
And then, of course, probably the biggest disappointment of the year, I'm going to call it right now, is going to be Dead Island.
Really?
In
you think
September.
It's going to be an upset?
Man, I'm telling you, I think the trailer was writing checks it can't cash.
Wow. I am going to finally disagree with you.
Man, let me tell you, I hope to be pleasantly surprised. I think it's going to be a massive failure.
Here's the thing. It might be a failure, but I am a sucker for open world games, and I like zombies somewhat. Not as much as Reed. but I do like zombies.
I just asked Rad. I'm like, hey, what's your take on it, big boy?
What do you think about it? I hate to I even hate to put Reed into a zombie category. I think he just likes the way that COD Zombies runs.
Yeah, I agree. But I remember he said he was remotely interested in this game, just to kind of see where it goes. So I am curious to see if people are gonna, since obviously the zombie, all the extra maps for Black Ops and everything, I think the Escalate or the Annihilation map pack is going to be the last one we're going to see for Black Ops. So I don't foresee us getting any more zombie maps.
I think there's one more.
They're going to do 4 map packs?
Yeah, from what Reed is telling me, and put it in the chat if I'm wrong, Reed, but he says that there's going to be yet another one.
Man, I'll tell you what, that's going to shock me if they do another one. I mean, that's interesting because, see, I'm thinking Dead Island would kind of pick up the slack when there's no more zombie maps to come out for Black Ops. I figured some of those people may, want to go ahead and jump on into Dead Island or something like that, but I don't know, man. I'm thinking that Dead Island's probably going to be a failure. I just don't think it's going to go. Did you see the gameplay?
Well, I did, but I don't know, man. I'm just gonna keep my mind open on this one. I've had some bad hunches, Brink, but but I'm not normally wrong about these things. So my guess is you say it's gonna flop. I say it's either going to be insanely well received or it's going to be just mediocre. I don't think it's going to suck bad. The thing about it is that when you get a game that's a sandbox game, in me anyway, a lot of people don't look at these as the actual game that it's meant to be. They look at it as a toy.
Right.
Because you can make out of these games what you want to. And when you can go anywhere in the world and they give you this humongous level to explore, you can make your own fun easily. And that's one of the things I have to press upon with Just Cause 2. It's not a game that needs to be played for the story. It is a game that is a toy, and it should be bought as such, not for the story. Once you get into the story mode, you do what's necessary to make the world free to you, and then just go have fun.
Exactly.
I've often thought that a good game idea would be a game that is just that. There is no story. You just call it have fun. And they make this huge world. Just imagine 700 or 800 square miles of playland where they hide all of these components. They take all the money that they thought...
Minecraft.
No. Yeah, they kind of. But think about it. But think about it in a broader term, a broader scope. You've got all the money that you're spending on the story, voice actors, all that crap. You take all that money and you put it into developing the engine, developing content for the world where you can create literally thousands of hours of things to do with no story to worry about. Think about it.
Well, I think they call that Legos.
You're sitting here talking about building shit. I'm talking about blowing shit up. I'm talking about, oh my god, I found this cave. You explore the cave for an hour. Holy crap, there's a jet in it, and the jet is a Harrier jet, and it comes out, I don't know, some crazy stuff like that. You could literally explore this game for hundreds of hours and not see everything.
So
that's
like Just Cause.
Exactly, but bigger than that is what I'm trying to say. Take away all the crap story and just literally when you pop the game in, boom, you're standing by the ocean on the beach, you're sipping a martini, and you're like, I want to do something, and then go.
Because that's similar to the name Have Fun, because it's like, why would you play that? Just cause.
Shut up. You're an asshole.
Anyway, okay, let's move on to a few of the other possibilities here for third quarter.
Okay. All right.
Resistance 3 is going to be a pretty big release. I know that that franchise has got a love-hate relationship with its fans. I think the first Resistance was not taken very well. The second one, I think it's got a pretty good following to it. So I'm going to be curious on how the third one's going to fare. And and then that's an exclusive for the PS3, and what it's up against. The exclusive on the Xbox is Gears of War 3. So now that is if neither of these games don't slip into the fourth quarter. Supposedly these are both September releases.
Well, I am 100% going with I'm 100% going with either Deus Ex or Gears of War for this one.
Man, Gears of War has always
Nope,
just
don't you diss Gears. Don't you do it. There is nothing to disrespect about Gears. Nothing. Your opinion.
Exactly. Yeah, I was going to say Gears of War is amazing.
You cannot. I swear, it's so fun. It may be a little bit bland, and people use it as an example of how these new age games are monochromatic and just boring, but that's bullshit to me. That game is so good. The character alone, Marcus Phoenix, makes that game good.
I'll tell you, the funny thing is, I love everything about Gears of War except
Are you serious?
Seriously, except the gameplay.
Why don't you like the gameplay?
Here's the deal, and this is something that Yahtzee has made famous in the Zero Punctuation live video reviews. The thing is, what I get so tired of is the chest-high walls. Because
what
it's
the hell does that? What does that have to do with anything?
But here's the thing: it's you run into a room, and there's a guy, and he starts shooting you, and there's just always conveniently a chest-high wall for you to hide behind, so that you can pop over and shoot the guy. And I'm just if this whole place is nothing but chest-high walls, and then you can just run around after you kill the guy. You run around and go to the next area where there's another chest-high wall.
You know what? I have to give that to you because there's this stupid-ass game, and in this game, I can't remember the name of the game. But in the game, there's these floating blocks with question marks on them. And they serve no purpose in floating there. They just happen to be floating in the sky. And that game is not fun because of it. See what I mean, Anakin?
I know. But the thing is, this is the deal, okay? I mean, when I played the first Gears of War, I played it almost all the way through. I never finished it. I got tied up with something else, and I never finished it. But, I did enjoy it. I thought it was pretty cool. The production value on it was amazing. I love the voice acting. I love the graphics. I love the engine. It was just that weird, bizarre, it just felt like everything was so conveniently set up like a video game. And it always kept taking me out of the world. Right. And I got so irritated with it. And then I was like, okay, supposedly Gears of War 2, they kind of went all crazy with it, and they kind of got it fixed up, and it was supposed to be so much more, compelling, and the gameplay was going to be much more varied. And I loaded it up, and I was like, all right, man, this is more my speed, And I played it for, I don't know, it was probably about 2 or 3 hours, and I'm thinking, man, this is awesome. You got on those huge, the big vehicles that they're on, and you're running around on the platform, and then you got to do the shooting the meteors out of the sky and coming at you, and they tear up all the people around you, and then you finally get down. There's a boss fight, all kinds of stuff early on. It's very, very early. And after that, I played for another 2 hours. After that really awesome first hour and a half to 2 hours of gameplay, that was a great period. Okay, and then the next 2 hours, I just felt like we're chest-high walls again.
Wait. But did you ever? I mean, the end game was spectacular. Did you fight the worm? Did you get to that part?
I did not.
You get swallowed. Spoiler alert. You get swallowed by a worm. Okay, imagine Tremors, but the size of the Empire State Building.
Did you? Wait a minute. Did you just refer to that horrible 1980s movie?
That was not horrible, okay? The first one was freaking great, okay?
All right. Actually, it is. I like that movie.
Kevin Bacon wins in that movie.
Indeed.
But yeah, so imagine a tremor the size of the Empire State Building, and you get swallowed by it. So the next level, I'm not talking just fight, the level is you trying to find his heart, okay? You run into his gastric whatever, into his juices. You got to avoid his juices. Then you have to find the heart. You find it. If you hear it beating, you're like, all right, let's take it out. You start sawing the veins, the arteries. You start sawing them. Blood starts pouring out. You have to saw them quickly so that you don't drown in the blood. And you're like, all right, we did it. You hear you realize he has 4 freaking hearts. You've got to run through slicing all the hearts, and finally you have to cut your way out the side of him as he shoots out of the ground. Then, no, I'm not going to ruin anymore because you need to play that, because that is only like halfway through the game that you fight the worm.
Well, good Lord. See, that's the kind of moments I was looking for, but it was like they were bookended by these long periods of time of chest-high walls.
I don't know. I didn't feel that way. I guess I look at some of these pieces that that you see as boring. I honestly enjoy them a little bit more just because I feel that they add to the end experience to me. They add to this level of nostalgia when I go back and I'm like, oh, I remember that insane battle right before this, or I remember that long journey to get here. Those long journeys are what make a game, personally for me, a lot better, because there's anticipation that grows. Maybe not in plays after the fact, but when you're sitting there and you know that you've got something big coming up and you've got this long battle ahead of you, it just makes that end product feel better that you fought your way through it. Especially when you play Gears of War on a harder difficulty, it can get rough, and I enjoy playing it on a harder difficulty. So I don't know. We differ in the way we think about that aspect of it, but I do impress that you play through the whole game before you completely deny it, and if they ramp up the third one even more than they did the second one, because the ending, the only thing I'd say bad about the second one was that the ending kind of was anticlimactic, because there wasn't really a final boss to the second one like there was in the first one when you fought Ram, but you can get over it. I got over it. And the ending was very different than the rest of so different from the rest of the game that it didn't really faze me that bad. But anyway,
I'll have to go back. You've certainly got me intrigued. Clearly, I need to play at least further than what I did, because I think I counted it out maybe a little too early. I probably do need to check it out. You have inspired me.
You know what, Anakin? I want to play it with you. So when you get the game, we'll just throw it in, record our us playing it together. How about that?
Fantastic. Done.
All right. Moving on.
Moving on.
It's going to be sweet.
So, speaking of that, okay, so, what's our predictions there? July, August, and September. I mean, Gears of War is pretty much the last one of that quarter. Then you start moving into October, and that ends up being in the fourth quarter. And I mean, the fourth quarter is just going to be ludicrous.
Yeah, it's going to be an absolute cluster bomb.
I mean, you got Silent Hill, Twisted Metal, Rage, Forza 4, Batman: Arkham City, Battlefield 3. All of that is just October.
Yeah.
And then November, Uncharted 3, Call of Duty, Saints Row 3, Skyrim. And then, all the other possible insanity to hit, which may even be the Star Wars Old Republic MMO, the Guild Wars 2 MMO. It's just going to be mind-boggling at the end of the year.
What do you predict your game of the year is going to be? Let's see if it changes.
Game of the year, man.
Yeah, I'm talking out of what is coming out in November, what do you think is going to be that title?
Well, I already know what yours is going to be. Believe it or not, okay, let me tell you, seriously, my prediction, and this is going to be interesting for us to come back to at the end of the year, my prediction for Game of the Year, okay, unless I am truly just blown away by something else, I think it's actually still going to be Dead Space 2. Believe it or not. Yep.
You serious? After what you saw at Battlefield 3 and Skyrim?
Let me tell you, I'm hoping that one of these other games steals away the title from Dead Space 2, but I love the Dead Space franchise. I just absolutely think it's one of the most polished games out there. I am hoping that Call of Duty or Battlefield 3 or Skyrim steals it away. Maybe even Rage. But, so far, I'm thinking that... I don't know, man. Dead Space is such a freaking awesome game.
Well, the way I personally feel, if you step up to a year where there's an Elder Scrolls game, the Elder Scrolls game is going to win it. That's the way it is. It's going to happen. I honestly, because here's the thing. When you buy a game, and this is true because I know you do it. We talk enough that I know that this is how it is for you. You buy a game, say Dead Space 2. When was the last time you put Dead Space in?
I probably put it in right before Dead Space 2, but yeah, it's not something I put in regularly.
When was the last time you put in Dead Space 2?
I probably put it in about I beat it after about a week of it being out, and then I think I put it in about a month after it was out and started playing through again. And then I probably would have played through it a full second time. I ran out of time then, and I might even put it back in again at some point, but I don't know when. It'll probably be in my list of replays at some point. But yeah, this is not something that I'm going to play a lot of.
Right, and I agree. I beat it, put it to the side. I won't play it again for a while. It'll be one of those things that I'll be like, ooh, I'm in the mood for a scary game. I'll throw it back in for a bit, but. Then, you have a lot of games like this. A game that is insanely good like Dead Space and insanely good like Portal. And then you have a year when an Elder Scrolls game comes out. And when that happens, you have a game that can be played pretty much for an infinite amount of time.
Right.
Not only is the quality insane, which I'm not speaking for Skyrim, I'm speaking for the previous titles, every single one of them. But when you got a game like Skyrim that comes out, an Elder Scrolls game that has the quality, has the voice acting, has the absolute batshit graphics and sounds, they put their heart into this. You know that no game that's come out since Fallout 3 has been worked on as much as this game. This game was the poster game where they were just like, no. New Vegas, leave the glitches, whatever. We don't even care. We're going for Skyrim. These other games that you only put in for a month at a time, those don't compare to that game to me. And and to some people, like yourself, I know you have very limited time. This game is probably not going to be in your top list, and I wouldn't expect it to be, because this game does take time to play. You have to, if you have kids or you have a full-time job, you do have to sacrifice some sleep to fully enjoy it. Because, sitting down for an hour is not cutting it. It's one of those games where it's like, oh, it's been an hour? Whatever.
Yeah.
No, it hasn't.
Like an Elder Scrolls game, seriously, is about as close as you can come to an MMO when when you talk about the amount of time it requires to play it and really experience it. And, I don't really have a problem with that other than the actual issue of having the time. I've always enjoyed the games that are really long with a big expansive universe that you can kind of explore and get into. But man, I'll tell you, the reason that I think Dead Space 2 and even the first one is such a great game is because I am not Kip K, damn it. I swear.
It's Kip K. He's in the chat. Is that Kip K?
Jesus. Anyway. The reason that I really like the whole Dead Space franchise is because they give you a fantastic experience that takes about 10 hours, and it's this nice bite-sized chunk of fantastic gameplay, fantastic production value, and it's a single-player experience. You don't have to worry about thinking, okay, well, I need to learn how to use this weapon for multiplayer or whatever, Yes, I know Dead Space 2 had multiplayer, but, it was a token multiplayer mode. Nobody really played it. So The thing is I just think that was like as close to an interactive movie as you could kind of get into when it comes to that. I really enjoy Uncharted for that same reason. Again, the Uncharted multiplayer I think is fairly token, even though of course the Uncharted 3 multiplayer everybody went pretty crazy over it. I tried it. It was okay. I didn't think it was amazing. It's not going to dethrone either Battlefield or COD anytime soon, but it's fun.
Yeah.
But Uncharted and the Dead Space, both of those franchises for me are about as good and polished as I expect from basically an interactive movie. That's what I'm looking for.
Right, an interactive novel or movie or some sort. I see what you're saying. I agree. I just see, personally as a gamer, and I know a lot, and this is why the Elder Scrolls get so much insane, I guess press, is because of how complex of an experience it is, how much time can be sunk into it. It's just absolutely insane to think that you couldn't like that game to me. But
well,
but
and
yeah,
so you're pretty sure that your game of the year, most likely, even in spite of these massive releases coming out, you're pretty sure that Skyrim's going to do it for you.
no, I actually think that it is going to be a dead-on tie for me between
Really?
Skyrim and Dark Souls.
Oh God, really?
Yep.
Oh
Dark.
man.
What you don't understand is, these games are. These games are. I'm doing it. When am I going to do another cousin video?
I saw that. I was like, what?
He meant a Ronnie video. I don't know.
Jeez.
I did one, but I had to bleep myself so many times that I just threw it away. Anyway, when you got a game that is so under-announced as Dark Souls, and then you've got games so hyped up as Modern Warfare and Battlefield, and Dark Souls is the superior game in my opinion. I would, if I could right now, I'm not even lying to you right now, if I could trade in my copies, my future copies of, if they were like, okay, if you get Modern Warfare 3 and Battlefield 3, you cannot have Dark Souls, I would trade them in immediately. No questions asked. I'd be like, I would rather have Dark Souls. You guys go play your online game. Here's what you don't understand is that the game is going to be phenomenal. I know this because I played the original, and they've upgraded the original. They really haven't touched much else other than just to upgrade it a bit. And the original is so good and so underplayed that it gets, people are just like, what the hell is that, Well, it's one of the hardest, most challenging things you can ever do, and it's not one of those games that's just like Ninja Gaiden which I'm not dissing Ninja Gaiden, but Ninja Gaiden is just so unforgivable, or like Meat Boy, Meat Boy's so unforgivable, that's why it's hard. Demon Souls is hard because it really plays on the impatience of man, is what it does. It says, okay, you're one of those gamers that likes to run through, smash, slash, kill. Well, that's going to kill you in this game. In this game, you have to be tactical. You have to understand the level. You have to understand your enemy. You have to understand that you are mortal. And this game really does, make you believe you're mortal. Why? Because in most games, when you die, oh man, I got set back 15 seconds. This game, you lost everything. You lost every bit of earning. You've lost experience, you've lost all your money, and you've lost all your time. And it really changes the type of gamer that you have to be. You have to become a mortal gamer. You have to treat your character as if he is a fragile, actual human being in this world. And I thoroughly enjoy that. It's much of an experience, to the point that it's a game that doesn't have much story, but what little story it does have, damn, does it do it good. It just it leaves a lot to the imagination, which, if any of you know me and my channel, you know that that's my favorite type of story, one that leaves my imagination to do some of the work. And so yeah, it's going to be Dark Souls or Skyrim. I'm going to give the push to Skyrim just because I know that Skyrim will have more content. But the best thing about the Demon Dark Souls type games is that they're more fun when played multiple times to see what you can do and challenge yourself. So yeah, that's my prediction. I would give up Modern Warfare 3 and Battlefield any day.
Interesting. Well, I'm much more of a jump in and jump out kind of gamer. I'd grab a controller, jump in for 5 games, and jump out, and I may take a break for an hour. So for me, definitely sadly, I have to go for the the loser games.
I didn't make him sound like that. I'm just saying my personal taste.
No, I know. But it is funny because I just like you though. I've got tons of other friends that are huge RPGers. Okay, I mean they're really heavy into all those. They love them. They do the MMOs. They do the RPGs, and they're coming way back from just like you, coming way back from even the Final Fantasy series, from the first one forward, and getting into all these all the Elder Scrolls games and all that. But I've just never been able to have my attention span stay on that. So I've always played what I call sadly, they tease me about it, and they say, "Oh, you're gonna go play your frat boy game," because I'm gonna go play Call of Duty, because I'm a dumbass, so I'm gonna go play on, Call of Duty now.
Play a game that doesn't take any mind power.
Exactly, yeah. So
I that's why I like being a flexible gamer. I can play anything but a sports simulator, and I just can't stand. It's not the game; it's just the sport. I'm not a huge fan of it. I can play fighting games and boxing games because I enjoy that sport, but I can play anything. I mean, put it in front of me, and I will master it with time.
Yeah.
And
I enjoy it, but I don't play the sports games a whole lot. But yeah, the one games generally, the one kind of game that I generally shy away from, unless it's just a mega title, is RPGs. I play everything else. I'll do driving games. I'll do first person, third person, puzzles, platformers, you name it. I'm all over it. But man, it's like the RPGs. It takes so long, and a buddy of mine tried to get me into Dragon Age, the original one, right when it came out, and I was watching him play this, and I was like, man, that looks awesome. And I checked it out. I borrowed his copy and played it for like a day or so, and I was just like, blah blah blah. Yeah, I'm done. Let's move on.
Yeah.
It's like I just run out of time because I can read the subtitles like 10 times quicker than the actual like delivery of the voice acting.
Oh man, I turn that crap off.
Oh god, it's just man, it's brutal to sit here and listen to these voice actors just go, "Hello, you need to help me do this."
Yeah, but what game are you talking about? I don't know. Sometimes in Elder Scrolls, you're right. It can get kind of annoying, and I have done that. I'm not going to lie, but it's mainly because for thousands and thousands and thousands of characters, they can only have a few voice actors. They can't hire 1,000 voice actors.
No, and I'm with you. It's not even necessarily the bad voice acting. It's just that the timing seems to be like just so long. It's like there's so the reason that Uncharted seems to work so well is because whoever designed the game and whoever directed the game, they understood the dialogue needed to flow just like a real person talks. Mm-hmm. But in a lot of these RPGs, it's not the quality of the voice acting. It's more like the game engine takes so long for one person to respond to another, and it just feels really weird. It just feels like you've got a character who goes, like, "Look out, there's a dragon coming." And then
exactly.
And then there's like this weird like pause, and then somebody else goes, "Yes, look out," and it's like, wait a minute, no, that this other person would have been like, "Oh my God, look out," it's like it should go right together, and
mm-hmm.
The game engine is usually the problem where they're loading a sound file, and then it's like the game engine has to load another sound file, and then the character can't move its mouth or create the animated action until the sound file gets loaded, and it just seems like there's this bizarre little bit of extra like time that doesn't feel natural, and that's right. That's what I always it drives me nuts, and Mass Effect kind of did that to me. And Dragon Age, and some of these other, major release titles, I always felt like the dialogue just felt stilted, just not quite what I was hoping for.
Yeah, I totally agree. I agree. It is the game engine, and it's got to be hard to load that stuff in, like you say.
I am not Nintendo Capri Sun either.
Those were both the guys. Both the guys I said you sounded like right there.
I am not Kip K, and I'm not Nintendo Capri Sun. I swear, I'm Anakin. And last time I checked, I am anyway.
God. Well, yeah, I hope so. But that was my problem. We were talking about possibly getting NCS on here. And interviewing him, and I was like, you wouldn't even be able to really tell them apart, probably.
Fantastic.
We could do a whole episode where you just act like you're NCS, and then another episode where you act like you're Kip K.
You know what? Everybody would just think that you have all these amazing guests. That would be awesome. Hey everybody, it's Kip K, and I'm featured on Down the Scope. Oh, now I look like Kip K too. Okay, good lord.
Well, you guys both are bald. All you gotta do is spray paint a goatee, like gray, and then you're good to go.
Yeah, actually, I probably the longer I go doing Down the Scope this late at night, I'm probably gonna not have to color it soon.
Exactly. Well, guys, I think now, since we've got that out of the way, I mean, well, you didn't tell me your game of the year. Why don't you do that?
I'm telling you, unless I really am thinking Modern Warfare 3 might do it for me. I'm hoping Battlefield 3 steals it away, but if both of those games let me down in some form or another, then I may still fall back into Dead Space 2 area. You never know.
Oh, that's right. You did say Dead Space 2. Never mind. Forgot. I guess I just didn't want to believe that. But no, you might be right.
Man, I love Dead Space. I'm telling you, I love that franchise. And if one of these other ones comes through like I think it will, then it will be no contest. It'll be BF3 or MW3. Yeah. So for me, anyway.
Right. Well, those are our thoughts on it, and one of our biggest things for doing this live show is because we wanted to involve you guys in here, and we haven't done that really yet. We kind of got our topic out of the way first, and now.
Kip K, God dang it!
Kip K loves Dead Space. Jesus.
That's awesome. I need to actually do like a Kip K spoof video. And then send it over there, and I'll have to get all of our viewers from Down the Scope to go spam Kip K to come on Down the Scope or something.
No kidding. God. Well,
jeez.
If you guys have any questions for us, let them fill up the chat. Let's see what they are. Let's answer.
The Skeesis. He's got a question already. Have you? Did you see it?
Let's see. I have a topic for later. Verdi and Anakin, can you give your opinions on the importance of mod tools in PC games and any experience you have had with modding? Topic comes from the news that Battlefield 3 will not have mod tools. Well, I'm okay with that because I don't PC game, but for games like Minecraft and stuff like that, if you look at Minecraft, if you were to play Minecraft without mods all the time, it'd be kind of shitty to me because having a fly mod and being able to build and give yourself materials when all you want to do is build is a necessary thing.
Yeah, I agree. The thing is with mods, back in the old days when I was only a PC gamer, I mean, mods were like a way of life. I spent so much time involved in modding games, and I actually did a full mod at one point back a long time ago. Me and a couple of buddies of mine, we created a full Half-Life multiplayer mod.
Oh, wow.
And, man, it was a lot of work. I mean, it was a ton. And I did all the animations. I did all of the character models, most of the level design. And a couple of buddies of mine, one kind of did some of the sound and some of the audio. And then another one did all the coding in the background to kind of change some of the way the game engine operated. And what we did is we created a... this was right after the time that The Matrix came out in '99, and Half-Life came out around '97, and there was tons and tons of mod tools available. And what I wanted to see, I still actually want to see this, and we're talking about this. Jesus, we're talking about 10 years later, or no more like, oh my God, 15 years later. Well, I wanted to see 15 years later. I still haven't seen it. I want to see a multiplayer game that would actually have NPC characters like in the middle of the map, and not only that, but have full-on real destructible environments. And what I mean by that is not like Red Faction Guerrilla. What I always wanted was something more along the lines of like in the Matrix, the very first Matrix, when you're in the lobby, okay, and they're shooting at everybody and everybody's shooting at them, and those columns start breaking apart. But
right.
the thing is, in a video game, when you shoot a column, the whole column would just break in chunks of pieces and fall down, and that's
right.
Stupid. In that game, in that movie, when they shot the columns would show the wear and the stuff breaking away, but you'd see all the debris in the air every time you shoot. Stuff is flying everywhere, and that it made and if you shot it long enough, I suppose you could make a hole all the way through it, and in a game that might be worthwhile. But the thing is, what I was trying to do with the mod that I created was do this Half-Life mod where it was a multiplayer mod only. The levels were created just for the sake of destroying the levels with grenades or rocket launchers or guns or whatever. And as you shot stuff, the pieces would go flying. And I actually was able to achieve this. I made a level that we played incessantly. I mean, we loved it, and it was such a blast. But I made levels where it was columns and with cubicles, because they had a lot of these models in the original Half-Life already preset. So I mean, you could grab all this. Cubicles, desks, file cabinets and stuff like that, and all these things would take damage after a while, and they would fall apart and break into little sprites and everything after a while if you shot it long enough. But the columns, the big columns, would actually be non-destructible. But what I would do is I would create 4 pieces around it to make it look like a bigger column. Those pieces you could shoot and they would break away, little by little.
Right.
And so that, it created a very, very similar effect to the way that the first Matrix movie kind of showed things as you shot. Pieces would go flying, things would break, you'd throw a grenade and there'd just be crap that would fly everywhere. And so it was such a blast. And, and then I would put in NPC characters everywhere throughout the whole level. So what would happen is it was kind of like you versus, it was almost like a free-for-all where you come in on one place, the other person comes in opposite, and it's a fairly small environment, and there's like all these NPC characters sitting in their cubicles working. And then all of a sudden you start shooting, and all the characters, all the NPCs would jump up and they would start running around away from the sounds of gunfire. Well, they would constantly run away from me when I fired, and then they'd turn around and run back towards me when the other character fired. And so it was like we had all this set up. So every time you would shoot, stuff went flying, things would destroy, and be destructible. The NPCs would run right through your crossfire, and they'd get killed. And then, it was just, to me, that was absolutely a blast. And I have yet, to this day, seen a game still do anything even close to that. And I don't quite understand it. And that's, in the form of modding tools, that's my experience with modding on the PC. I did a lot of it. I've played a ton of mods. I do enjoy it, and I think they are extremely important to PC gaming. And in fact, it's probably one of the only things that still sets PC gaming apart from console gaming these days.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that when it comes to mods, you have to leave it to the developer to decide if they're going to put it in there. You look at a mod as a privilege that you wouldn't normally get on a console. If you don't have it, it's not the end of the world. It's their right to put it there if they want to, but it's not going to be the end if you don't get your Battlefield mod. But yeah, I feel the same way. Some of the greatest games came from mods. I don't know if some of the greatest games came from Battlefield mods, but I know that they came from Half-Life mods.
Well, actually, Battlefield had a huge mod. I forget what the name. I'm almost sure it was called Modern Combat. And it was a massive, massive mod. It was for Battlefield 1942, and they changed it. And in fact, they did helicopters before Battlefield 2 ever even came out. I mean, we're talking like a year or more before Battlefield 2 ever came out. Battlefield 1942 was modded with a full, what they call a TC, a total conversion, and it was called, I'm almost sure it was called Modern Combat, and they took it from 1942, Desert Combat, that's what it was, Skeesis. Desert Combat, and they set it up with helicopters, jets, modern weapons, everything, and it was so good that at one point that was being played on the Battlefield 1942 servers more than 1942.
Wow.
Yeah, we're talking like almost to the level of Counter-Strike when it comes to a mod overtaking the original game. And of course, we all know how Counter-Strike, turned into a full-on mod. I mean, a full-on game type, But Desert Combat, unfortunately, was was really a predecessor to Battlefield 2. They just did it before the actual real release, and they did it extremely well.
Neat.
Indeed.
No, I didn't know that. I did not know that. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Wolfen game. Actually, I want to answer a question from she just left. Never mind. She's been asking it all night, and I couldn't answer it. But well, I'll actually answer it to her later. But the Wolfen Gamer says, what gamer games have you played that you felt you couldn't finish? Not as in that you didn't like it, but as if you played the game and you loved every minute of it and worked hard to the end, but when you got to the final boss or last part of it, you just felt like you didn't want it to end so soon, no matter how long it had taken to get to that point.
He's talking about pleasure delaying.
Right, pleasure delaying it yourself. Have you ever done that?
You know, I don't think so. I don't think there's been a game that I've liked so much that I actually chose to walk away so that I didn't finish it right then, to maybe kind of play it later or whatever. You know, I mean, there were times when I didn't want the Dead Space games to end. I mean, those were just, I still wanted to go back. That's why I actually went back to start playing them again. But man, you know, to have a game that's just so awesome that I kind of stopped because I didn't want I didn't want to finich it. I don't know. I can't think of any.
Yeah, that's an odd thing for me. I've never even heard of pleasure delaying. I never would or could do that.
You know, they actually talked about that. That's a term, believe it or not, from a movie called Vanilla Sky.
No, I've heard. Oh yeah, I've seen it. I know what it means, but I've never done it in gaming. I actually, Vanilla Sky is one of my favorite movies. Did you know
I love that movie. No, I did not know that.
I fucking love. I'm sorry. I love that movie. No, we can't do that.
Too late.
No, that F-bomb is out there.
Fantastic.
But no, I absolutely love it. And so yeah, I just thought I'd throw that in there.
Fantastic.
But all right. So no, I to answer your question, buddy, I have not. I have not done that before. I just can't imagine doing that. What do you see?
This podcast is rated M.
I think I might be able to put a rating on it as long as I put it in our show.
Awesome.
It's like, dang it, man. You can't go back and edit that crap.
All right, hang on. KFXG. Is that Hurricane? Are you Hurricane? Come on. Answer. Are you Hurricane?
It's going to take him 10 seconds.
I know. Gosh dang it.
Son of a gun. I know. I can't wait for the day when live streaming is live.
I know. It is him. It's King Hurricane. What's up, brother? Glad you could make it. He and I were talking earlier on Steam chat.
Oh, yeah?
He was checking out some of my crazy videos. Did you see those crazy Rock Band videos? Oh, my God.
Were you talking to me?
I was talking to everybody.
You knew I saw those. Oh, God. So, yeah, props for the freaking green screen. What? I mean, God, that... I don't know. I think it looks more impressive than it actually is. I don't know, but I know it takes a lot of production.
It was pretty tough, but yeah, I actually had a bunch of people over at the TGN network. Man, I got Skype calls left and right asking me about After Effects and how to do the production and all that. I was like, good Lord, all right, here's what I do, you know. And so I was actually sharing that with some of those guys. And I got 3 different guys asking me about that, so I had to share some of my tricks of the trade.
Well, yeah. What it you know? Never mind. I won't say that here. I almost said something, but I'll tell you later. But right. But yeah, that was very impressive. I honestly enjoyed that quite a bit, and I can't wait to be able to give you my own songs that I want you to hear you sing.
Indeed. Yeah, I'll be. I don't know about. Somebody asked me earlier too. They somebody wrote me a note on Steam asking me if I would just do the vocals only and no drumming or anything at all. And then they were saying, would I just sing just my would I sing my commentary over like Black Ops or Modern Warfare? I was like, what? How am I supposed to sing the commentary? It's like, hey, everybody, it's Anakin.
Hey, everybody, it's Anakin.
wait a minute. That doesn't even make any sense. Yeah, it's like, how can I sing my commentary? So anyway.
That's too funny. That is too funny. I would love to see that. I think we need to petition this. See, Anakin should have just kept his big mouth shut if he didn't want it to happen.
Oh, good Lord. Don't listen to him. Don't listen to him.
You know, if Reed had never told me, here's the thing. You know, this is my podcast, Reed, so I can talk about this all I want. If Reed had never told me that he had never shown his face on his channel and had not gone, no, I don't want you to see my face, I never would have thought that he never showed his face.
Yeah, you know, I wouldn't have thought about it either. He made such a huge deal out of not doing it that's when everybody got so, like, enraged to get him to do it, you know? It was like, I didn't even care. I don't care what you look like, Reed.
I know, it's like, you know, the only reason I make a big deal about it is because I know it bugs the hell out of him.
I know.
You know, and that's the fun. That's the fun of it. But
I don't care if he looks like the Elephant Man or Brad Pitt or anywhere in between. It doesn't matter.
It's not going to affect me.
Exactly.
But yeah, you know, you should have just shut the hell up about it.
Indeed.
I'm talking to you.
Oh yeah, that.
You're gonna be singing.
Jesus.
You're gonna be singing, buddy.
Good Lord.
Oh God, but yeah, so there's that. Let's see. Nev keeps asking the same damn question, so I will answer it for him. When I got partnered, I had 3,000 subscribers, but I got partnered through a contest, so that is not the case. Now I'll go ahead and point this out for you. I actually got these statistics from NCS the other day. He told me about this. He's actually a partner with TGS as well. And he actually spouted these out in a video, which I did not realize that these were the accurate statistics, and I didn't realize how lucky I was in winning this partnership with TGS. You have to acquire 1 million channel views per month in order to qualify for their program. I did not know that until yesterday. So that's how lucky I am. I actually got partnered with them, and I only had 3,000 subs. I got partnered through a very lucky contest that I won, and that's pretty much how it goes. If you're looking to get partnered, there are plenty of other ways to do it if you're good enough. So I hope that answers your question. Next one. Is there another one? Combat Evolved Anniversary. What are you thinking about that?
Man, you know, I'm curious to know how that's gonna turn out. You know, they're supposed to basically just be using the ODST engine to remake the first Halo, isn't that right? That's right. The idea behind it. And you know, I mean, I enjoyed the first Halo. I thought it was pretty cool, but it may, even with the newer graphics and the newer game engine, it still may feel a little dated.
It looks a little dated, but the game itself is still the best Halo in my opinion. So I'm looking forward to it. It does, like Anakin said, it does look like it might have some issues, but we'll see. I hate to rule it out because of the graphics, but if you look at the trailer, like we talked about in episode like 20, you know, the graphics do look kind of off. If you put Halo Reach beside the new trailer, it kind of looks undone, which it might be undone. I don't know, but it does definitely look kind of weird.
Right.
There is yet another person asking my opinion. I don't know. Yeah, okay. So there's another person asking my opinion on Final Fantasy 13. Do you mind if I answer that?
Go ahead, yeah.
Okay. Oh, Final Fantasy 13 is an enigma. It's good, and yet so bad. Like I don't know. It's one of these games that if you're a fan of Final Fantasy, you're gonna hate it. If you're not a fan, you're probably gonna love it. And anywhere in between, you know, you just kind of dictate where you're gonna stand. So Final Fantasy plays out like this. You've got a main character. He is going to save the world. You have a long story segment, a tutorial. Then you're out onto the free world. You roam, you grind, and then you save the world. I mean, in a nutshell, that's how the game plays out. It is a very open world you can explore and whatnot, and it's very good. Now, Final Fantasy 13 brought us some spectacular graphics. I mean, they're really good for a PS3 Japanese role-playing game. What they did do, though, is what I like to call Square Enixed it. Okay, you got your Treyarched it, but the thing is that once Square Soft became Square Enix, they literally did what they did. They sold out. And to be truthfully honest, their titles have not been as good since then. They pretty much will do any. It seems like they're now following this more bizarre JRPG trend, and they're only appealing to it seems like a Japanese audience to me. When you look at Final Fantasy 1 through 6, you get a certain taste in your mouth. You look at 7 through 9, it is different, but it is very good. It is a very good type of different, and I think that if put into a more 3D environment, the original Final Fantasies would look quite similar to Final Fantasy 7 through 9. 10, they started getting a little radical, but I still didn't mind it. 12, they redeemed themselves in my eyes. It was the best Final Fantasy I'd played in a long time, which is highly debatable, but you're wrong. It's you can sit there and gripe that it's not traditional, but it was spectacular. That's what counted, not the fact that it wasn't the exact same. Then you got 13 that pops in, and 13 has one hell of a battle system, a very awesome combat system that is not something that you pop in for 5 minutes and learn. You have to spend 4 or 5 hours with the system to learn it, and even then you can't even explain it to somebody. They're to give you an example, Anakin, because I know you're sitting there going, "You're an idiot," because you have no idea what I'm talking about.
No, I do.
The tutorial for this game is approximately 13 hours long.
Oh my god!
I swear, the first 13 hours of the game, you're playing the game, but you only really think you're playing the game. You're actually being taught how to play, and then you learn. So with 13, you get these JRPG. The same voice actors. I mean, they're good voice actors, but you get some of the most generic voice actors you can get at some points, and you get the crazy outfits and all that, which we're all familiar with Final Fantasy. But they take away something that is very key, and that is a free roam aspect. In Final Fantasy, you have to be able to explore, and they took it out. You're pretty much walking down a damn hall the whole time. The whole game, you're being led down a narrow corridor, with the exception of one part of the game, which doesn't count, because it is one place. It's just bigger than the rest, to me. And you're not getting to explore. You're not being able to find caves to explore, towns to explore, stuff like you could in the original Final Fantasy. So It really did hurt it in my eyes. If you're asking if Final Fantasy 13 is a good game, yes, I think it is a very good game. If you're asking me if it is the best Final Fantasy, no, it's not. But then again, you probably don't like Final Fantasy 12, and that's one of my top favorite games. If you don't like Final Fantasy 12, you're too much of a Final Fantasy fanboy. That's a good thing to look at it. If you don't like Final Fantasy 12, you're too much of a fanboy. I've never been able to put that in words, and I just did, so I'm excited for myself. Because people argue with me all the time. They're like, "You're an idiot, man. The game sucks, bruh." I'm like, "No, it doesn't. It's absolutely amazing." No, dude, they do. And you just can't really get a handle. It's like, why does it suck? It just does, man. It just doesn't do this and that. It's an excellent game. If that game had been some other ridiculous JRPG name, it would have been considered one of the best, and people would have been looking for its sequel. But since it's got the Final Fantasy tagged on it, and it's not like the other ones in a lot of ways, people really dismiss it. So that's my take on Final Fantasy 13.
And my take is Final Fantasy 13 2 is absolutely one of the most redundant titles of any form of media I've ever heard of. All right, there you go. That's my take.
Now we're getting to Final Fantasy 13 2. Now what I have to tell you about that is look at the last time we had a sequel to one of these games and what happened. Now, you can. I've actually had this happen, Anakin, and you're not going to know what I'm saying, but believe me, it's atrocious. People actually, they tell me that Final Fantasy X-2 is better than Final Fantasy 12.
I'm dying over here. Call of Duty. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, which was really Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare 2, already had me like gagging for air the first time I actually heard they were going to do that. And then to know to see that these JRPGs, they have sequels to sequels to the idea that it was supposed to be a one-off game anyway. And it's like I can't even wrap my mind around this.
Well, let me mess shit up for you even more, Anakin. So I'm serious. This is a little history lesson if you didn't know this already. So basically, Final Fantasy was brought to Japan, okay? And it was very highly, people loved it. They just absolutely fell in love with it. But like they did with the original Mario, they decided that it probably wasn't for an American audience. So they went ahead and made Final Fantasy 2. And it was good. So they made Final Fantasy 3. Well, they decided now we need to market this to the audience over there. So they made Final Fantasy 4, right? In America, Final Fantasy 4 is their 2.
God.
Can you believe it?
Oh my God.
I think we got now. See, I'm already confused now. Again, I think we got their 5, and our 6 is their, or our 3 is their 6. We never received their 3. Okay. It's an absolute cluster. There's never a final. It'll never be final. I don't know why they call it Final Fantasy. Well, I do know why. Do you know why they call it that? Because it was supposed to be Squaresoft's last hurrah before they died. They were dying, and that was the last game they were gonna make. And it was just one of those things that happened, and boom, it just ended up exploding. Got them financially stable again, and they were like, well, let's make a second one.
Good Lord.
So yeah, it's pretty crazy. But anyway, yeah, the third version, of course, it was released for the DS. I'm talking about before that crap came out, Vmodius. That's recent gaming. I'm talking about back when Final Fantasy 3 was something to be talked about. That game, we never got it. We never got the original Final Fantasy 3 in its format. We got a remake on the DS, but that's not what I'm talking about. Anyway, enough Final Fantasy. God.
Jeez.
Whew. So, anything else, guys? Is there anything else you guys want to talk about?
Well, I saw Skeesis here talking about Windows 8 and the Xbox 360. However, yes, I have also heard that rumor. The deal is, let me tell you, there have been very few games that would allow cross-platform play between the PC and the Xbox. However, you can bet, regardless of what they're advertising for Windows 8, they will never do any blockbuster titles because it's just not an even playing field.
No, they would kill themselves.
Yeah, it's just not a... And but by the way, speaking of that, they are changing the name of games for Windows, which everybody called GFW. That was kind of like if you were doing PC gaming and you got your games for Windows, everybody always cringed because you had to install the stupid GFW console as part of the game. But here's the deal. They are getting rid of that name, and they are actually changing GFW to Xbox. Now, apparently, what Microsoft is trying to do, by the way, is they're trying to use the term Xbox, not Xbox 360, okay? Because what they're trying to do is they're trying to make the term Xbox synonymous with gaming, with Microsoft gaming, okay? So they're getting rid of the games for Windows, and yes, it was actually the full name was Games for Windows Live, but they're trying to get rid of, or they are getting rid of, Games for Windows, and they're going to call everything, either on PC or Xbox, Xbox Gaming. And what they're going to refer to the consoles, it's going to be Xbox PC or Xbox 360 or Xbox whatever the next iteration will be, which, of course, everybody keeps thinking they're going to call it 720. who really knows? I honestly don't know if they're going to do 720 or not.
That's silly. They're not going to do that.
Yeah, I don't think they will either. But you know, the deal is you will definitely not see a cross-platform mega game like Call of Duty between the console and the PC platform. It's just not going to happen. It's in nobody's best interest.
No, and it's not even fair, honestly, because, you know, what game did that? Where you could play PC and console cross-platform online?
Halo 2 did that.
Was it really?
Yeah, Halo 2 allowed cross-platform gaming.
So did you ever play? Well, you probably never played. I mean, you have played PC shooters and gotten good.
Absolutely.
And then you played. I mean, you got to agree that mouse is a lot more accurate sometimes.
Oh my God! Yeah, it's no contest. I mean, let me tell you, coming from a PC background, it is absolutely no contest whatsoever. You know, and that's the thing is any time. I mean, I don't care what console gamer you are. Okay, you know, Sandy Ravage or anybody else out there. Okay, you will lose to somebody of the same caliber on the PC platform. You cannot compete with that because the deal is, the bottom line is you just can't turn fast enough with a console controller. You just can't do it. With a mouse, you can turn as fast as you want to move your hand or as fast as you want to set the sensitivity on your mouse. And I don't care if you set your sensitivity all the way to 10 on a console game, it just will not allow you to be able to do what you need to do. And, I mean, this has been proven time and time again. You know, every time that there's ever been any kind of cross-platform between a PC and a console game, it's just been absolutely brutal. Even some bad players on the PC end up besting, you know, mediocre to decent players on, you know, on console. I mean, you know, it's just not going to happen. You know.
Yeah, I agree, and I felt that way when I played Halo. When I played Halo myself, and you know, it was Twitch. You know, it was very on the PC. I mean, when the first one came to the PC, it was very Twitch.
Right.
When I got to going with the Halo 2 on the console, man, it was a tough getting back, and it was very tough getting back into the groove of things because that mouse just felt so much better. And you know, Skeesis brought up the aim assist. I don't think that helps out, honestly, too much to me. I really don't. Because all it's trying to do is counterbalance the amount of control you have with a mouse, is what it's doing.
Right.
It's not, but it doesn't work as well as you'd think it would, to me anyway. I don't know. Maybe it does. I don't know. I've never taken it off to see. I've just always, you know, if anything, the only time I notice it's when I'm aiming at somebody and then somebody else walks in front of my gun and it tries to follow them. I don't know. That's the only time I've ever noticed it myself.
Right.
But,
well, you know, they made a I forget who actually made this, but one of my friends wants to do this, and I told him good luck with it because I don't believe that it would work. But it's called the XIM3. It's the adapter for the Xbox that allows you to do any standard keyboard and mouse.
I've heard of that.
And let me tell you, this thing is supposed to be pretty damn amazing. You know, they sold out of their stock whenever this thing became live earlier this year. They sold it, and as soon as this thing became available, I mean, it just went, you know, everybody lost their mind and bought it. $150 for the XIM3, okay? That's ludicrous. And, you know, if you really want to win at console games that much, you know, to spend $150, because basically it's a hardware mod. It's a controller emulator, but without the input lag. And so it supposedly allows you to take your keyboard and mouse and play just like it was an actual PC. And obviously, you know, it unevens the playing field at that point. But I'm curious. I'd love to try one day just to see. But, man, I'll tell you, that's about the only way I know of for anybody to actually see if they're, you know, better that way or not.
You know, I would go so far as to say that's cheating.
I would too. I believe it is.
I would call that modded controlling, because I just don't. Yeah, that's bullcrap. I mean, I feel that if you have an advantage due to your control, you're doing something different. I think, if you're playing a PC game, play with a PC controller, or have the rules set so that you can only play with a controller. If you're playing on a console, only play with those. I mean, yes, of course, if it's if you're just doing it for single player, that's great. But if you're trying to gain an advantage by changing stuff like that, I don't like that. I don't like knowing that I'm winning because of an advantage.
Right.
Personally,
I agree.
Anybody that has an advantage and they feel good about winning shouldn't.
I agree.
But that's just me being me. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but any more questions, guys?
Well, let's wrap it up with this last question here, because I am actually a little intrigued by this. Of course, it's not something we can answer. 270KP says, what about the website that was bought by Microsoft called Sony-Microsoft.com? What's your take on it, Viridia?
Sony-Microsoft.com.
Do you know anything about this?
I haven't. I heard a little bit, but as far as knowing exactly what it's going to be, I don't know.
Nobody seems to know, but what's your theory? Any ideas?
My theory is that there's so much hatred going around with both these consoles. I think that Microsoft and Sony might have understood. Now the thing is they are not going to. I don't think that they're going to group up at all. I think what they've realized is that they are the two guys. They know that they're the leaders in the Western gaming. Not just the Western, but I mean, Xbox has never been big in Japan.
Right.
But I think that they're under the understanding that they don't have to be foes in this thing, and they can actually probably do some good working together on some things. Now, that's not saying that they're not going to be competitive, but think of it this way: I think that the Kinect and the Move have been major flops. And it might have been due to lack of communication between these guys. Think if they had communication and they sat down and they compiled Sony and Microsoft's ideas together, and then instead of going, okay, well, we'll fight to make the better one of these, they said, okay, here's a good idea about this. We're going to take this as a team and make this something for Microsoft. We're also going to take this as a team and make it for Sony, and we're going to literally take the consoles and make them individual platforms rather than a platform that can be done, either way. So right now, exclusivity is really the only thing holding them together, or apart, rather. You know what I mean, Anakin?
Right. I'm with you.
The only thing that's holding them apart is Gears of War and Uncharted. And think about how good it would be for them if it's like, no, but you have to have both systems in order to get these two different experiences.
Exactly.
See what I'm saying here? Hey, Grand Pyro, what's up, buddy? I think that it might be something along those lines. Now, it probably, and I guarantee, I know it's not. I'm thinking really outside the box here. But I have to imagine that if this is what's happening, it's going to be on a very small level, possibly a game that is created by both Sony and Microsoft, maybe just a game or something. Not necessarily an app or whatnot, but it might even be something as little as a network in order to track your Sony and Microsoft games on both consoles or something. I mean, think about how that would be. Just because for me, I've got PS3, I've got Xbox. But if you're only on my PS3, you can't see anything I've played on the Xbox. Think about a cross-media bar that also included Xbox on it, or a dashboard that also included a cross-media bar on it as well.
Right.
I see it as something, maybe kind of a small team play that will benefit both systems equally, and will also kind of fuel down these wars that are happening and make these fanboys who are fans of the PS3 or hardcore fans of the Xbox to maybe open up to another console, because we're already at that point in the gaming world that we know that it's not one console necessarily winning out over another one, because most people are going to buy both. It's really cracking down on these fanboys that choose never to buy anything Microsoft. I mean, how many people do you know that only own an Xbox or a PS3? I mean, we do know a few.
A few, but I actually believe that they are in the minority. If you're a gamer, you're a gamer, regardless of platform.
Yeah, that's the way I believe too. We've got Gage, Zombie Lady, some of these people, and they honestly are not hardcore gamers. They play some gaming, and Gage he's very big into multiplayer, but they're not hardcore gamers to the point that they play every single game that comes out. If you're a hardcore gamer, you're going to have both consoles. That's just how it is. You're not going to pick one or the other. The only other way you wouldn't have it is if you didn't, have the funds, which, it's understandable. These things are expensive. What do you think?
The thing is, over at Kotaku, Joel Johnson is one of the writers and contributors over there, and he actually put his theory out about it. And I wish that his theory was right, because I just quoted him over in the chat screen, and he starts his off by saying, Microsoft has trouble making hardware. Of course, what he's referring to is the Red Ring of Death debacle. And then he says Sony has trouble running online services. And, of course, we all know what he's referring to with that. And he says, what if the next Xbox and the next PlayStation are one and the same? And, that, honestly, would just be absolutely amazing, because what you're doing at that point is you truly are taking the best of the best that each of these companies can do. And I'm just going to read a couple of his headers here. I'm not going to read any of the dialogue, but if you guys want to read this, it's a very good read. He says, Sony still has the hardware knack, okay? And that's very true, okay? They make great hardware. Then he says, Microsoft makes the best development tools in the industry. And this is also true. I feel exactly the same way. We have heard this time and time and time again from developers saying they have no problem creating their game for Xbox. It is a disaster to hire people to try to develop for the PS3. It has always been that way. The PS2 was also the same problem. In fact, I believe if the PS2 hadn't been so difficult to code for, the Xbox original console never would have had a leg to stand on. They would not have made it. But because it was just so easy to program for and to create games, just, you could develop and create an entire game engine on the PC, and it was literally like one change you had to make for it to suddenly start running on an Xbox. You can't do that even remotely. I mean, it takes months to port engines over to any Sony platform. So he talks about that. And then he says Xbox Live is the best. Now, this is arguable, but let me tell you, once again, I share this guy's opinion. Xbox Live is the best online gaming platform in existence. Now, that's a pretty bold statement, okay? But I stand by it personally, and I also agree with him. And the deal is, the PlayStation Network interface is such a damn mess. It is just unbelievable. I have to click through. I can't even begin to tell you, to check one message, I have to click through about 5 different screens when I'm in a game to respond to somebody. And then what's up with the lack of a speech communication on the PSN? I mean, that's ridiculous. And then there's just so many things. There was another thing the other night that just made me so mad when I was on the PSN. And then, of course, the damn PSN network went down again. I think it was either Thursday night or Friday night. It went down for me anyway for a couple of hours. And I was right in the middle of wanting to play something, and I was like, screw it. And I turned off my PSN and got back on the Xbox, started playing again. But anyway, I feel like Xbox Live is such a solid system. Now, again, here's where we get into Sony. Okay, because they're online and their interface is not very good, they get to retreat, and this is his words, Sony gets to retreat into hardware and content, its greatest strengths. Now, again, I completely agree with this. Sony has always been great about hardware. They've always been able to create. I mean, we all heard about the cell processors when the PS3 was first announced, before anybody could even lay hands on it. It was like, this was going to be like some kind of ridiculous supercomputer that you were going to own in your house. I mean, it was just going to be amazing. And the Xbox could never really come close to that. But, it's the damn software that, that Sony was never able to back it up with.
Right.
And anyway, that's about where he stands here with this article. And I completely agree with it. Basically, what it boils down to is Microsoft has finally after all the years of the things that they're good at, okay, and Windows obviously is one of them, and I don't care what you guys say out there, we all use it, we all live on it. I don't care, Mac is fine, Ubuntu is fine, but let me tell you, I bet 90% of you guys watching this, if not more, maybe all of you, are watching this podcast right now on a Windows box, okay? Very few of you, if you're gamers, you're probably not watching this on a Mac.
Yeah.
So anyway, the point is Microsoft has the ability to create great software and the ability to create great interfaces, because this is what they have done their entire existence as a company. And on the opposite side, Sony has been able to do the same thing with hardware. They've always been able to excel at hardware development. They've been able to create the best hardware out there. So if these two companies could ever get together and figure out, that they would create something that would just rule the freaking, consoles, I mean, they could probably together destroy Nintendo if they needed to,
Oh, easily, yeah. But it won't happen, because then they would have literally less profit to make both ways.
Very true.
It would be cut exactly half. I mean, it's a shame, but I don't know. I'm just hoping that someday they'll be able to come together and do something that is unified. But we'll see. We'll see. I mean, Windows/Sony or Microsoft/Sony or whatever it was called.
Yeah, -Sony, yeah.
That might... Was it Microsoft that made that?
Supposedly, Microsoft was the one that registered it.
Yeah. I don't know. I have a hard time believing that. If that's the case, that means that they would have had to have contacted Sony, gotten the rights to their name and everything, because you can't just use a name, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, they would have to do that. They would have to have... There's obviously some kind of partnership that has prompted them to buy this domain. The problem is nobody even knows if this is gaming related. This could be a cell phone. This could be this could be any number of things. It could be some Microsoft OS that's going to be on a Sony television for all we know. I mean, there's a million directions this could go. But for whatever reason, the game industry felt like this was aimed at us. And I don't know where, I don't know why somebody decided that, but it certainly has made for good discussion. I've seen it everywhere. It seems like something everybody's been talking about. So,
well, we might have to delve into that in more depth in a later episode once this maybe comes into light a little bit more.
Indeed.
Because we don't really know much about it at this point. So, but man, I think we are out of time.
I think we have gone down the scope as far as the scope will let us.
This week, yes.
Indeed.
Oh my God! So how long has this cast been going? Can you tell?
Yeah, let me see. I can tell you exactly. We are at 1 hour, 53 minutes, and 6 seconds.
Because mine says 4 hours, 23 seconds.
That's because YouTube is freaking awesome.
Oh wow, that's great.
Oh, man.
Well, all right. So, guys, I want to say thank you so much for everything you have done for us. You stuck around. You've watched the podcast. You've listened to the podcast. You've given your feedback through email. You've given your feedback through comments and thumbs ups and favorites. It's because of you guys that we're still here today, and that we continue to do it. If you guys didn't watch, obviously we would have stopped back when when we first started. We would have just got rid of it pretty soon. So
indeed, I see a banana.
Oh!
I see hardscopers. I see bananas.
Answer yes or no if you know what banana means.
All right, everybody should know. Hopefully, everybody
let's see. Just yes or no. Don't explain it. Obviously.
Yep.
Just tap our fingers.
Oh, look, it's Italian Boy.
Where?
Italian Boy just popped up with banana.
I guess my chat's that far behind. I don't see any of that. I don't even see one banana.
Really?
What time is it? Hold on. It's got time codes on there.
9:48 p.m. according to what I'm looking at.
I can't see Italian Boy.
Really? He popped in.
Wait, are there two chats?
God, I hope not.
Oh no. Oh, there he is. He says I was here the whole time.
Oh, I never saw you. I just saw the first time I saw him was banana.
Well, we got a ton of yeses.
Yeah,
Nope.
I do see tons of yeses.
If you answered no, subscribe.
Exactly. Damn it.
Oh, subscribe and watch the podcasts. Gamer, and this is the thing about live streaming. I always have one person. See Gamer right down here?
Yeah.
He says, God dang it, I just joined a minute ago. It's always that way. It's like there's always that one or a few people that are just like, they get to the video late. They're like, oh, crap, and they turn it on and it's just ending. It sucks. It sucks. I'm sorry, but this will be... If it doesn't record or there's a problem with the recording on YouTube, Anakin and I will have this cast right now up on the internet by tomorrow. So don't worry about that. You'll be able to re-listen to it.
Indeed.
But yeah, if you guys haven't subscribed to myself or Anakin, we definitely would appreciate that. If you guys are new to us before, you've never seen Down the Scope, we highly recommend if you subscribe. We do this every single Sunday, and as far as I'm concerned, I don't intend to stop because I have a lot of fun talking the bullshit.
Indeed.
With Anakin. I do have a lot of fun doing that. So if you haven't subscribed, I'm going to type in. This is youtube.com/ Oop, I can't post a link in my own damn chat. Never mind.
Thanks again, YouTube. You rock.
Can you believe it? So it's youtube.com/Anakin.
Yes.
With 4 N's. You can go over there and you can check him out, and he posts the podcast. You can also just click the subscribe button down here on my page, which is where you're at right now, and that would help me out, or it's probably at the top, and that would help us out a ton. And guys, thank you so much. You know, Anakin, this was so easy. I think we should probably do these a little bit more often than milestones.
I agree.
Because I actually did enjoy this. You know, now there's no cleanup, really. Unless something fails on YouTube, there's not really much cleanup. So, you know, you guys will see us live again for sure. Next time we do this, though, it'll be on JTV. That way we can more accurately, you know, talk to you. It'll be so much easier to talk to you on there.
I agree. Yeah, we may move it over there, and then that way we can still reserve our channels to post the recorded discussion afterwards. You know, that way you guys can catch us over there on JTV, and possibly in the future, if I can get all this done the way I want to do it, we may start doing some you know, on screen or something down the scope. At least I might. You know, Brad. You know, has his ways of getting involved with that, and I've got some crazy things that I might be doing in the future. So we might be able to figure out a way to get us both on screen, depending on our internet connections. So we'll see how all that can go. But yeah, I mean, this it should be pretty fun in the future. Yeah,
and guys, I thank you so much for everything you watching us and everything, because you know none of this would be possible without you. And we're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep making this stronger. I want to say, you know, thank you very much. Who was it that just said that? Damn chat, just scrolled up really fast. Bates, I guess 1171. Thank you very much for that comment. We appreciate any comments you send us.
Absolutely.
So if you want to send us anything, you can send it to podcastdownthescope@gmail.com, and I can't actually post the link.
I think you can do like AT.
I did at and then gmail.com, and you can get you can email us there, and we will answer you. We will we'll possibly use your topic on the air.
Indeed, we do it actually fairly often. So the more topics that you guys want to talk about, especially the ones that we get a lot of people asking the same thing. So that always helps us choose a topic, because that obviously means a lot of people are interested in that specific one. So
right, exactly. So that's the easiest way to get a hold of us. So if you guys want to keep watching us, that's how you keep it. I don't know. Can we explain it any better?
I don't think so. I mean, you know,
I always feel like I'm not explaining things to the fullest extent for some reason.
I understood.
Okay, good.
And I'm pretty slow.
That's pretty much all we needed. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I know that you know, in the coming weeks we're actually going to be bringing in more of the control shot guys, and that'll be awesome to get going. We're gonna have them talk to you about what they're doing on their channels, how they're doing. Also, I want to give a big shout out to Medina. Medina got partnered, as well as Reed. They got partnered on JTV. Congratulations on those, because they deserve it. They've got some big streaming going on. So, anything else? Any last words?
Nothing at all, I guess. I do want to say, I mean, you've said it enough, but I'll just say it myself as well. We really do appreciate all the things that you guys have done for us. Every single email, every single like, every thumbs up, everything that you guys do regarding Down the Scope and our own personal channels, of course, it really is appreciated, guys. Let me tell you, I mean, we spend a lot of time on this. We talk during the week to get ready for this. We always try to discuss what topics we want to go over. We even sometimes buy games strictly for our channels, for
right.
you guys. We don't always just go down to the store and go, wow, I want to try this game. We may go down there and say, you know what, I think a lot of our fans on our channels want to see this game. And you guys actually kind of determine sometimes what we buy, how we buy it, what we play. And really remember, these channels are for you guys. They're not for us. They are for you guys. So if there's certain things you want to see more of, if there's certain things that that you're more interested in than what we've been doing, share your thoughts. Leave some comments. Send us emails. Send us personal messages on YouTube. However you want to communicate with us, and let us know what more we can do for you guys, because that's definitely why we keep doing it.
Exactly. Well, guys, I don't have any more else to say. I know Anakin just spilled his heart out there. So,
Indeed.
So we are going to go ahead and get off here again. Thanks for watching episode 25. We really appreciate it, and we'll see you next week.
All right. See you guys later.
Later, guys.